as soon as you have made your hiring decision and you have proposed this offer to the candidate, the first thing you have to do is you sign the contract immediately. And immediately means like in a couple of days it should be presented to the candidate. So if it's not ready, why didn't you start working on it like a couple of weeks before and filling in the few details you didn't know that time? And then start the onboarding process immediately. That means basically you have to first, of course, agree about the first day, but then you have to start planning the first day. And this has to be immediately, not on the like few days before, but a few months before, or at least a couple of weeks before the person has to be starting. So the steps in the onboarding, first you start about the start date, then you plan the first day and first week, and then you plan the 100 days. This is quite an easy thing. Well, I can share my personal experience. I haven't been many times employed, only a couple of years on 2 occasions. But when I started with quite a prominent placement, I never did any preparation, and I appeared on the first day like, okay, and then started thinking what would be the things I need to achieve fast and so on. What happens in this occasion is that if you are in a prominent position, you are invited to all kinds of meetings immediately, and that takes away the time you might need for thinking. So better think in advance, think about what do you want the first day to look like? First thing, what do you want to wear? And when is the first time actually you want to meet your closest colleagues? It actually might be before the original official day you start working. Very many executives prefer to have an informal lunch the week before or the evening before their official starting meeting is. So all these things are the things what the new employee has to think, and I would think that this is the hiring manager's responsibility to remind him or her about this. There are lots of books or free resources titled New Managers or New Leaders First 100 Days. So let's go forward now. Before the day one, of course, you have to sort out the practical things. If you need to order a laptop, desk, prepare whatever you need. This is the only thing which can be delegated, but of course you have the hiring manager has to say that when the starting date is, and from that the personal assistant or HR person can take over. And then make the detailed plan for day one. So what do you want during this day one to happen is you have to think of introductions to the team. For this you have to plan the time. Then you want to have personal meetings with all the stakeholders, and these personal meetings should be not just social chat, not just introduction, but a serious talk. I would plan 1 hour for all this, and I would also facilitate or ask the new employee to plan for these meetings. The new employee should ask what this person is expecting from him or her, and ask in detail also the business situation description from all of the stakeholders. In small organizations, maybe not so much, but in a big organization, the new employee might get quite confused from the beginning, because it's quite usual that different stakeholders would have different opinions or expectations about what this person has to achieve. And part of the onboarding work the new employee has to do is to sort out what is most important and actually get to an agreement with everyone. So, and finally, you might want to have a social event during this first day. maybe some small drinks reception in the office by the end of the day. And if you want to do this, you also have to inform everybody that this is going to happen. Some companies have some social event on first day, something in the office, and then they want to go out for drinks on first Friday. But whatever you want to do, this has to be planned so that everybody has the understanding of the importance of this event. This is not just drinks, it's onboarding of the new employee.
I have a question about the personal meeting with stakeholders. You mentioned it's about like talking about the expectations. How to make sure that the stakeholders wouldn't place so many expectations on the new hire that weren't like communicated, and now there's a huge list of them, and maybe the new hire kind of feels like he or she needs to agree to all of them. So how you can make sure that this is smooth?
Very good point. Thank you for this. I kind of hinted on this, that there might be different expectations from different stakeholders. So different stakeholders would, it's quite normal. This is nothing to be too unhappy about, that every stakeholder has their own interests and their own field they are responsible for. And when a new person comes, everybody wants his or her problems to be solved in the first order. But then the new employee has to make the plan, and that's the next thing we start talking about, and to make sure that he prioritizes the things in the right way, and then agrees this new priority list with all the stakeholders again. So this is actually the most important things what should happen during the first month of the employment.
Okay, thank you.
So again, first weeks, meet everyone, and everyone, what I mean here is everybody in the company. The new employee has to do any work with, but also maybe outside of the company, the clients or partners or whoever. Then read all you need to know. Actually, that means basically understanding the business, the product, all the issues, the situation. So everything what you were not, what wasn't available in advance is available now, and the new employee should take time reading it all and understanding. Then the first 100 days, I have mentioned this already several times, but this is a very good kind of tool to make sure that you get to the same picture with your hiring manager, but with all the other stakeholders as well. And that's not only planning this 100-day, the quick wins you want to achieve in 45 days maybe, and then start planning what you want to achieve in 60 days, and then what do you get to in 90 days. And it's not only planning, but just agreeing it with all the stakeholders is important. Then there is a good idea to make an onboarding workshop with the team. Wisnio platform gives a good opportunity to do this. I will show a slide about it, and we will show the product pretty soon. And finally, during the end of the couple of first weeks, maybe very, very brief feedback survey would be appropriate, like asking a few questions from the new hire and maybe some of his or her colleagues as well. So what I mean about the onboarding workshop, this is a picture of the Wisnio platform where you see the competencies of the team this new employee is going to work, but on the background is the team, and on the front, the blue one is the candidate, the new employee, then in the team. And here we see what kind of new competencies this employee brings to the team. And it's good that first, the hiring manager has this discussion with this new employee, showing all these pictures in the system. If you already have the data, it's a very rich powerful tool for onboarding, and maybe also having this kind of discussion with the team, saying that, for example, you see that this is the competencies what the new employee brings into this team. So if we need something to do with some of these green ones, what we were not so strong with earlier, we can ask his or her help with it. And then first months, you go on actually working with the 100 days plan, and the important thing is that during this period, let's say the plan is ready by the end of the first month, and then you go on with it for the next 3 months. And the important thing is that the hiring manager should have enough time for guidance, coaching, and feedback with the work of the new employee. Of course, this is not something the hiring manager should forget. On the 5th month, having regular meetings with each employee is good anytime, but it's critically important during the onboarding period. And then finally, if you finish the period, you might want to have another of these workshops, looking again with the team at the data and discuss whatever things you noticed during this 3 or 4 months period. And then finally, we also recommend to have a 360 feedback gathered about the new employee for her or him, and then discussed it again with the new employee only, or with the new employee and the team if necessary. If there are things which might be necessary for the team to consider or know, it might be a good idea to discuss it on the team workshop as well. Yes, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. I have a question about like complete the 100 days plan. Just because in a lot of cases when you hire someone, you might have a lot of ideas what the person should do, but in reality, it could drift a little bit. Or what happens is that people start to give a little more or different like tasks or responsibilities. So what like a new hire should do if he or she is getting a lot of like new and extra work, and it's hard to like complete the 100 days plan?
Okay, but the 100 days plan is exactly for avoiding this situation. Well, this is something you agree with the most important stakeholders. And then if someone rushes in with something new you haven't considered, then of course if you're a flexible person, you maybe want to take out your plan and say that, well, let's see what we skip then, if you want to handle this very quickly.
Okay, so the new hire should also take this kind of courage to make sure that this was my plan, let's stick to it.
Actually, saying yes to every proposal is the best recipe for fail. If you can't say no, then everything you do unsatisfactorily, because you will have more tasks than possible to fulfill.